am I? Where am I? Hold on. Get this out of here. There I am. How you guys doing? Good, I hope. I was just trying to get all my notes together for the show. It was a little running a little late. Tell you, it was a difficult day. Work has been difficult. They decided to have a meeting on Friday, and I wasn't looking. I wasn't prepared for it. Let's say that. So I've been really busy with this because it was like last minute bullshit. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got Jibber Jonathan, formerly Edwin. What is the name of this song in the intro? Alucard. That is one I wrote. I call it Welcome to the Show. And as I said a few shows ago, if you want to use it for any of your stuff, go ahead and use it. Just give me credit in whatever you're using it for. Let's see, St. Louis Arch. How are you, sir? All right, well, the rest of you guys are being quiet. Oh, Alucard. Hillary Snot Pocket, zinc milk broth, fermented starburst, brownish red goo mixed with chewy cream cheese with the chunky yeast period, blood, sugar, pus, meatball with vaginal cyst wine. Unfortunately for you, Alucard, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. So you can talk about any of that kind of stuff. It doesn't really affect me unless I probably saw it. And then that would probably affect me. Otherwise, reading it in words, they're just words, and words are words. Pop, on the other hand, he has a problem with the internal visualization that he gets overwhelmed with. But when I get enough time, I am working on a new way to make Pop puke, and I already got it approved by Blake, and now it's just putting it together so that it works. But basically, it's something visual, and it's basically not to give too much away. It would be like think of it like a roulette machine, and for every donation, Pop has to spin the wheel, and it could be something good, it could be something real bad. so that should be, if I get time, within the next month or two. We should hopefully be able to roll that out. I'm just trying to figure out a way. I'm working with Blake to be able to, because it can't be stuff that they can show on stream, obviously. So we're thinking of doing like a separate camera so you see Pop's screen. Somehow you'd be able to see the Pop screen and see what he's looking at when he sees it. And of course, you'll see him reacting to it. So on the show. So that should be a lot of fun. So yeah, I can't wait to get it all together. So tonight, I'm going to talk about some stuff with what I believe is shaping up to be another summer of love. What happened in 2020, I think they've been looking for ways to duplicate that. I think last year there was pushes. If you remember, they were trying everything. They were going down every alley to see what they could dig up to try to get the masses worked up. There was, if you remember, early in the election, actually it wasn't last year, it was 2024. Early in the election, they were talking about, oh, maybe COVID's going to make another appearance. Ooh. They were saying all these different things to try to get people worked up. But once Trump got shot out there in Pennsylvania, I think that pretty much locked it down for him. That and seeing Biden fall apart on stage, live TV, they couldn't hide it anymore. And Kamala being the horrible candidate that she was, they couldn't make it happen. So they took the lessons learned there, and they've been waiting. And I think this year they've hooked on to their newest thing, that being this whole ICE immigration issue, um, that they are pushing hard. And I think they're going to keep riding this as hard as they can because we're at the midterms, right? So at the midterms, they're going to try to swing both the House and the Senate because the Republicans have a very thin majority on both, right? And I feel like they haven't got a lot done. I think due mostly to the fact that you have all these activist judges really stopping the agenda because they're fighting Nazis. So, um, yeah. So I think this year they've really clamped on to this whole immigration and ICE thing, and it's really got the left really stirred up pretty hard. And I think they're going to keep riding this out. And I think once it gets warmer, I think you're really going to see it start ramping up more and more. Now, why is this important to think about? Well, I saw, and why is this a strategy? So I saw firsthand in my town. My town was Republican on the town board, all the way down. The all the seats were Republican. Uh, this prior election, they had a Democratic woman come in and do the, linking the town board to Trump policies and all the nonsense that, she just came in basically banging the drum of Trump bad, a vote for these people is a vote for Trump, and vote for me and my other two people that she had riding with her. And it fucking worked. And they've now taken over the town board. It's a 5-seat board, and they have 3 seats out of the 5. So they didn't do a clean sweep, but enough to have the majority and to, it's going to affect local shit. When you think about things, I mean, we always talk in national politics or even state politics, but a lot of people don't think or talk about things in their county and town politics, what's going on. And that's where a lot of the stuff that really affects you day to day, all the little rules that they put in place, and all this shit to really just make your life miserable, right? Think of them as a bigger nuisance than any of the HOA type places, just on a bigger scale. So it's really important to pay attention to your town politics too, besides your state and national politics. But so let's get into some of the stuff, because I don't really hear anybody or very few people talking about this potential that's coming down the line of them running another campaign of just fucking burning everything down. What's going to happen if we have another shooting and it's warmer? Think about that. And God forbid if it's someone of color, right? Think about that. It will be a firestorm. And that's exactly what that the fucking left, not only do they want it, they need it. They need it to flip all the seats, both nationally, both locally. This is an important year. And once they flip the Senate and the House, potentially, then we're fucked. We are fucked, because they're just going to stop anything. Anything Trump wants to do, they are going to fucking just stall it out. More so. Way more so than they already are. So it's concerning. Not only for that fact, but just you guys remember what happened during 2020 with the COVID and the fucking the Floyd bullshit. How difficult that made our lives. I believe that they're going to try this in some form again to really ramp things up really hard. So why do I think this? Let me show you some of this stuff, and then I can invite some of you guys hanging out in the chat there to come on. You guys can talk about what you feel about it. If you think I'm right, think I'm full of shit, we'll see. So let's see, share screen. We'll start right off the top of the bat with this. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy tonight, so if I'm snorting and sniffling, please excuse me. So January 5th, 2026, subject, Postal Service employees continue to provide essential services. Okay. Number one, background. During large-scale emergencies, epidemics, hurricanes, civil unrest, etc., states and localities may issue curfew orders or other directives restricting travel and other commercial and personal activities. Okay, why is the post office sending something like this out at the beginning of the year? Did they do it in 2024 or 2025 or any of those other years that once we got out of the lockdowns? Not to my knowledge. All right, so it goes on. Many of these orders will explicitly exempt providers of essential services, but some do not. Even if a state and local action does not contain such an exemption, the Postal Service's operation are governed by federal law. Therefore, we continue to fulfill our public service mission by accepting and delivering mail and packages in accordance with federal law, so on and so forth. Let's see what else. Okay, number two, another important. Employees and contractors should carry the essential services letter with them as they perform duties for Postal Service and travel to and from work. Why is the Postal Service having to carry letters to say that they can perform their jobs if there is no outbreak, epidemic, civil unrest to that degree? I mean, this has gone out, as far as I know, this went out nationwide, right? It's not just it went out to Michigan or Minnesota or some of these areas that are having problems, right? It says, because state and local governments' restrictions do not apply to prevent Postal Service employees from reporting to and performing their work, all employees and contractors must provide with a copy. All employees and contractors must be provided with a copy of the essential services letter attached to the memorandum. In an effort to assist employees who may be stopped or questioned by local law enforcement about their activities as a result of a state or local legal directive restricting commercial or personal activities. Why are they talking in this manner? Like, why are they putting this out? Like, I'm like really questioning like what's going on here. So it goes on and on, but here's what the letter looks like. This is what postal carriers are supposed to be carrying with them. Essential service provider letter. Law enforcement official, the bearer of this letter with the accompanying U.S. Postal Service identification badge, provides essential services of the federal government. The Postal Service, in continuing to fill its critical public service mission by accepting and delivering mail and packages, so on and so forth. This is basically what they give to any law enforcement official who may stop them at some checkpoint or some other area, wondering what they're doing because travel has been restricted for some reason. Why is travel being restricted for some reason? Right? I mean, that's strange, isn't it? Let's see. Like, this to me is like really just odd that you would be putting something out like this, unless things are going to really start kicking off, or the federal government is going to declare some kind of martial law either within a certain area or several areas, right? Okay, so here's another interesting fact I'm going to bring to the table. This is an email that was sent to another creator on YouTube by somebody who is in the federal government. And he's saying, here is the final request from the DoD regarding the drone purchase over the next 6 months. February is the evaluation phase, and this is where they will order an initial 30,000 drones. Why do they need 30,000 drones? Why is the federal government ordering 30,000 drones? The 1.1 billion is now spread out over 2 years. So they're spending over $1 billion on 30,000 drones. I wasn't off in my original numbers based on the first request, but they made some changes, all just attaching so on and so forth. The next, okay, so this is the basic scope of the contract for the 30,000 drones. The Department of Defense intends to buy commercial technologies for novel applications supporting defense purposes. That's an interesting sentence right there in itself. Vendors will bear development and manufacturing risks. The government will pay a fixed price only for units that are delivered and determined acceptable. There will be no progress payments on cost reimbursement terms under the effort, so on and so forth. So phase one, beginning February 2026 of this year, between February 2026 and July 2026, the federal government is purchasing 30,000 drones at $5,000 a piece, with a total orders value of $150 million. Then phase two will be between August 26 and January 27. They will purchase another 60,000 drones at $300 million apiece. Phase three is between February 2027 and July 27, another 100,000 drones at $300 million. And then phase four is for another 150,000 drones. Why is the government buying all these drones? That is a lot of drones. Do the math. Okay, the goal, all the completion of the DDP, multiple U.S. vendors will have demonstrated the ability to produce capable, low-cost, secure supply chain SUAS at scale, enabling services to integrate their capacities into future acquisition pathways. Drone dominance is relying on industry to innovate to complete battlefield missions, reduce unit cost, and scale production with a preference for systems sourced and manufactured primarily in the United States. Why do we need this many drones? Why? I mean, I'm really a little perplexed. And this is the phase one project, basically stating it's called the Drone Dominance Program. Where they're going to order at the start 30,000 drones this year. Tell me why. What's Cliff say? Cliff says, Billy, I get one of these essential work letters when I was a contractor during the lockdown. I had to show that every day. Let me get this on the screen totally. I had to show that every day to the gate guard at the airbase I worked at. It got ridiculous. But that was during the lockdown. Why do we need another one of these? Cliff also says, question, what kind of drones? The type that are plays into what they're capable of. I don't know. I don't have any more specifics on the drones. except for this. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, this is for memorandum for senior Pentagon leadership, commanders of the Combat Command's Director of Defense Agencies. This is from last year. Unleashing U.S. military drone dominance. Says, when I became Secretary of Defense, I committed to rebuild our military to match threats to capabilities. Drones are the biggest battlefield innovation in a generation, accounting for more of this year's casualties in Ukraine. Our adversaries collectively produce millions of cheap drones each year. While global military drone production skyrocketed over the last 3 years, the previous administration deployed red tape. U.S. units are not outfitted with the lethal small drones the modern battlefield requires. So, based on that, they are looking for lethal types of drones. On June 6th, President Trump issued Executive Order 14307 to support the American drone industry and arm our war fighters. The Department of Defense is going above and beyond this order. I am rescinding restrictive policies that hinders production and limited access to the vital technologies, unleashing the combined potential of American manufacturing and warfighter ingenuity. I am delegating authority to procure and operate drones from the bureaucracy to our warfighters. So they're doing this right as things are getting a little, more hairy with these protests, right? And they're going to get hairier, I believe, as the weather improves, right? Now you're going to be introducing drones potentially into, I don't know why you need so many drones. That's over 300,000 drones. I mean, is it me? It seems a bit much. But in the background, we have Jackal decided to join the conversation. Let's get him in here. Whoop, hold on. There he is. What's going on, sir?
Nothing.
What do you think about this I'm bringing to the table?
The drones? Yeah, the timing is not good. It's definitely suspicious. I mean, in whose authority is going to be put over those drones? Like, what units are going to be issued these drones? I mean, the fact that they're not immediately getting put into shipping crates and being sent over to Ukraine tells me that we're supposed to use them.
Right.
But on who is the question? And what kind of drones? Are we talking about those little spy drones or whatever? The ones that you could get at a local retailer, just with capabilities of hauling, I'm assuming, some sort of explosive payload? Or are these reconnaissance drones? I mean, if they're $5,000, some of these.
Yeah, well, all of them are going to be $5,000. So that's not a little stupid, off the shelf drone.
Well, the phase 4 there, when they're looking at purchasing 150,000 and the average price per unit is supposed to be 2,300. I'm assuming there's supposed to be the cheaper variants, but again,
no, that's a cost of production. So anything with production, the more you scale it, the cheaper things become. Just because you're just doing things at such scale, that just becomes cheaper.
Yeah, it's just buying it in bulk. That's about it. Bulk buying.
Still,
that's 150,000 drones. Again, okay, I know I point to video games a lot, but Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, you see the Marines go into South Korea, and the North Koreans who are invading, they're using drone swarms. Now, these drones can fire small arms, so they've got tiny guns mounted onto them so they can shoot at you. And because they move in gigantic coordinated swarms, if they all decide to take one pot shot at you, hundreds within a swarm, you're Swiss cheese. Now, if we're talking about explosive drones, like the ones that, just kamikaze drones, they just fly in and just slam into you and deliver a payload. More than likely, it'll be some sort of shaped charge, but of course, they probably have different types of payloads. They could have air burst, fragmentation, poison gas. It could be anything, because it's really just a delivery system. That's all a drone is. It's a delivery system that you can directly pilot using a VR headset, which would explain why VR headsets are getting so expensive, is because people are buying them and using them in Ukraine to pilot their drones. And some of them, you don't even need an expensive, like either a MetaQuest or Pimax VR headset. You can use a cell phone because they're powered by Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. You just put it in your little whatever apparatus that holds your phone screen pretty much to your face, and you watch the screen while you use like an Xbox controller or a controller that is delivered with the drone itself, and you just fly the drone with that. And those are relatively inexpensive, maybe a couple $100. But those things have been proven to be game changers on the battlefield, because you could catch somebody with a hatch open on an armored vehicle. You just fly right over it and drop any kind of grenade or some explosive device into that pothole or whatever the fuck in that vehicle and kill everybody inside. So, 5,000 drones just starting in phase 1. Okay. You can keep an eye out for any mysteriously fast-moving flying objects over Minneapolis, maybe. Because our government is pretty keen on using its own citizens as test subjects for their new weapons.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to, I'm kind of putting these two together, right? That, they're not going to, I don't think this government is going to stand for cities being burnt to the ground like they did under the Biden.
No, I don't think so. And another side effect of this, a problem, is further galvanization of the populace. So you get the two major factions in politics. You're gonna have one side that's gonna say, "Yeah, use those drones to squash these Antifa motherfuckers." Okay, but who's to say that they're only going to use them on the left? You still have elements within the government, verifiably, because where do you think their little ICE hunter squads are getting their data from, their information on these agents? You can only get that from inside. I don't care if you're a really, really good hacker, civilian, not part of any federal agency or whatever. You aren't really going to get a hold of the personal information of these ICE agents with only, very pixelated video from a cell phone camera of them wearing a mask over their face. You're just not going to. Yeah. Even with the best AI assisted facial recognition systems, if you wear sunglasses, a hat, and a mask over your face, it cannot identify you, because it needs to see those really key features in order to identify you. Yeah. So that means that there is an element within the government that is supplying them with information on who these guys are, where they live, who their family members are. So and it's obvious that they're good at covering up their tracks because they still haven't been caught, or their bosses are in on it and they turned a blind eye to it just to throw a fuck you to Orange Man Rad over here.
Yeah. I don't know. Things are kind of shaping up, I'm just seeing down the road of ways things can go. And here's the crazy thing. So, we say, I'll have to find the clip. Several years ago, there was a show called Westworld. It was based on a book, later a movie from the 70s. They turned it into a series. It was good. The first season was good. The rest of it was shit. Christopher Nolan did it. But so it's basically these robots that look human, act human. They've built this whole amusement park, you could say, where the robots live. That looks like the Old West. And you pay a fee, big fee, and you go in and you pretend you're in the West. And these robots they don't know anything of the modern world, or they haven't been programmed to know any of the modern world. And they just act as though it's 1875. So one of the people that went in accidentally dropped a picture of somebody they knew in the modern world, like a woman with, standing in Times Square. And so one of the robots had picked it up, and he's looking at it. He couldn't understand. And he showed it to the other robot. He's like, "What do you see here?" And the other robot's like, "I don't see anything at all. It doesn't look like anything to me." And this is what it's like talking with a lefty. You can bring up anything that is completely reasonable, makes perfect sense to anybody that hasn't been brainwashed and has normal ways of thinking, and they will just either stare at you blankly or just come up with some complete hollow argument of why it's this way. And I'll give you another example. A couple weeks ago, I went to a bar with my friend, and there was a guy 2 down from us, and he was British. You could tell he was British. And he was talking about how he went to Britain for the holidays and how he goes twice a year. So just, friendly, talking. I asked him, so, how is it over there? Is it everything I'm seeing? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, all the immigrant situations you have over there. He's like, oh, we're not going to talk about politics. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to make it political. And now I'm like kind of, I'm getting kind of a sense of where this guy stands. I'm like, no, I'm just like, is the media full of shit? Or all these things I'm seeing, are my lying eyes deceiving me and telling me that I'm not seeing all these videos of immigrant? I didn't say it like this, but I said, is the immigration problem not a problem over there? He's like, oh, that's just in a few spots. They amplify it. That's not real. I don't see blah, blah, blah. Like he's doing the looking at the picture and saying, I don't see anything bad at all routine. And this is how they think.
That's
how they fucking think.
I think in general, the internet has taken on an eristic attitude. An eristic, the definition of that word is you argue for the sake of arguing and not in search of truth. You're basically, in layman's terms, it's just you're that smartass that you take any response from your intellectual opponent, in quotes, in a conversation or argument as a victory. It's so much as them saying, I don't want to talk about this, they consider that a victory because they'll conflate it in their mind that you don't want to engage with them in the argument because you're, I don't know, they'll come up with a reason. You're afraid of losing because you know you don't have an argument, or that's just something I'm seeing people doing now. So we've already stepped way past that point to where we are no longer willing to actually talk. We're just not doing that. I think the last time we saw that was Charlie. He was one of the last that was willing to do it. So all those YouTubers and influencers, whatever the hell, independent news people with big following on whatever, name your platform, that said this is the end of let's sit down and discuss. For once, they were actually right-ish, because we've already progressed past that point where we're not willing to talk anymore. Now we're just taking up guns and we're taking pot shots at each other like gangsters in Compton.
Yeah, well, as I think it was a word of advice is, I think, and kind of bookending on what you're saying is, I think we're past the point of trying to engage with this side of the fun little jab troll, like wearing a MAGA hat. I think if you wear a MAGA hat now, I think you, depending on what areas you go into, you may be seriously injured. So yeah. I think you got to look out for yourself and don't engage in these people, because they've proven time and time again they're irrational. Completely fucking irrational. And you don't want to deal with irrational people.
No, because they're unpredictable. They make rash decisions. And while usually facing an opponent who makes rash decisions leaves you with great opportunities to strike them down, because they'll just, say, fuck these people, go get your guns. We're going to meet here at this time and we're going to fuck them up. Okay. Yeah. They can make irrational decisions and not prepare properly, making them a weaker foe. That doesn't make them any less dangerous, because these are people who not only have the capability of voting, but they also have access to weaponry, whether it's through their own money that they make doing whatever job, Starbucks barista nonsense they do, or if they are supplied weaponry by whoever's bankrolling them in their big group.
Yeah.
They have, look at the Antifa squads that they had marching around during the summer of burn everything down, burn, loot, and murder. They were wearing tactical gear with actual plates.
Yeah.
Some of those plate carriers and tactical helmets, whether they were real tactical helmets or just, cheap, rare airsoft reproductions you can get off of Amazon, that's thousands of dollars worth of gear. And, for a bunch of people who are, socialist losers, they're not very, what we would say, incentivized to make money because of their career choices, which are all shitty.
Well, and
where would they get the money to supply themselves with that much equipment?
Yeah. Well, they don't have hobbies, or most of them don't. And mommy and daddy usually supporting them. And
what's creepy is that some of them do have hobbies, and those hobbies stem into the creepazoid side of the internet. And you'd be very surprised how many people are willing to bankroll it. And what's interesting is platforms like Patreon and Subscribestar, well, not Subscribestar as much, but definitely Patreon, they host these people and their creepy, weepy, communities where, of course, if you tried to put their, in quotes, content that they make on what would be considered a mainstream media sharing platform, it would get instantaneously nuked because it's just that nasty and weird. But these platforms that are put up behind a paywall, they will tolerate it because they make money off of it. Or they make a cut. Most of it, I think, goes to the owner of the platform, but they still get paid for it. And these people make that kind of money. I know that it's a really, I guess, a standard to start accusing these people of being closeted furries, pedos, and whatever else. But that's not a stereotype. That's observed behavior. How many of these creepazoids have had their, digital lives dug into, and you find out that they are part of these weird niche communities, and they make a decent amount of money either making animated porn films of, name your favorite science fiction or just fantasy character, or they make fur suits, or they do some other kind of weird shit that caters to that crowd.
Yeah.
That's where some of them make their money, because again, when it comes down to sex sells, regardless of how creepy it is or just weird or wrong because it has to do with animals somehow, that people are willing to throw big bucks at it.
Well, and I think further to that, I think speaking of money, and they have money, and I think the notion that we used to, or a lot of people on the right used to have of these lefties, that they're weak, they don't know how to use a gun, they don't know what a gun is. I think that's been proven wrong at this point.
Oh yeah,
I think
they're preparing. Like, again, if they don't have hobbies, that means they have free time. If they have free time and they have access to weaponry, then some of them are actually intelligent enough to go and train with their weapons. And if they go and they, play airsoft, paintball, or whatever, I mean, we've heard Pop say that airsoft and paintball are really good equivalents for practicing basic shoot and maneuvering kinds of tactics. So if they're able to do that, if they're able to afford that, or if they just know people where they can go and practice without having to pay for it, then obviously they are training, because, I mean, to shoot somebody specifically in the neck, that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. Well, so we were saying about making arrests and whatnot. So I thought this was interesting. ICE buys warehouses for mass detention network, rattling locals. One industrial building the federal government plans to overhaul into an immigration detention center in Roxbury, New Jersey, draws groundwater from the small town that uses nearly all of its daily limit. Another proposed detention site is a warehouse in Oklahoma City that would hold up to 1,500 people, a little more than a mile from an elementary school and church. A third location, previously an auto parts distribution center in Chester, New York, became so unbearably hot during summer months that two people who used to work there said it was akin to being stuck inside an aluminum shed. I don't see the problem there. It's interesting, though, to note the location in Jersey and in New York makes me wonder, well, are they going to go into the city now, New York City, and start, because it's a quote unquote sanctuary city, are they going to start clearing out the city from all the Venezuelan gangs and everybody else that are illegal in there, which would probably be to that Zundummies, whatever his name is, advantage, since he's killing his own residents for his horrible control of the city in less than 1 month of leadership. So it'd probably help them out to get rid of all the people who are causing problems over there. But I just thought that's interesting. So what do they do with the buildings, right, after they clear out the immigrants, right? And again, like, okay, so you're going into Jersey and New York, which, like, those places are pretty much have said, I think both of them are sanctuary states. I know I saw the governor of Jersey was like going to like work against ICE agencies and whatnot. So why would you be needing detention centers for the illegal immigrants if the places aren't going to work with you? Could it be that they're setting these up for detention centers for rioters? Maybe. It's interesting to think about, right? I don't know. I'm telling you, there's stuff coming down the pipe, and why I'm stressing while I'm doing the show and trying to make it important for you guys to hear, whoever's hearing this, is to prepare yourself now for the potential of what is coming within the next few months and further down the road. But I think, hey, Rusty Rivers, how are you? But I think we're in for some shenanigans coming up once it gets warmer. So what does it mean to prepare yourself? Well, as we discussed many times on this show, is making sure your food supply, you got a good amount of food, right? Because as we saw what happened in COVID, when you were limited in where you can go and what stores you can go to, and during the time you had to wait outside in line, which thankfully I didn't have to deal with because I had a nice supply that I was just working from my supply. I didn't go to the freaking store in like 6 months. But is to, get yourself stocked up. Use this time now, especially you got Easter coming in another couple months, and that's going to mean that they're going to make a lot of canned food, usually canned vegetables and whatnot during that time, and the prices there's going to be a lot of sales on big hams and canned food and all that stuff because of Easter. So I always say, like, before a big holiday like that, like Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, is to stock up for yourself, because that's when they have really good sales and they have just a ton of supplies. Jiver Jonathan says stack up on matches. You could do a lot with a box of matches. Sure could. Do a lot with, there's a lot of interesting stuff you can make with all different kinds of things. So let me put a link in for you guys. Whoever wants to join, I'll get this, stop sharing this. Oh my goodness, what the fuck is that? I didn't even notice you had that.
That's Tommy on the down low.
Oh dear God. All right. So I'm putting the link for anybody who wants to join in the conversation that we've been having, or if you just joined the conversation and you missed what was up, we were talking about that's Cliff. We've been talking about number one, my belief that there might be something big coming down the line for these protests that are happening, that are kind of on the lower side because of just the weather. I showed you a letter that's gone out from the post office that basically is a letter saying that their postal carriers can operate despite the fact if there is civil unrest or a epidemic. I think the reasons that I believe there may be something coming is because the Democrats want to win the House and the Senate. So they will do everything they can to to demonize the Republican Party. I saw it firsthand in my own little town. They did that as part of their political game this past November with my local election. and they won the seats, my local board, and I believe it was because they did the Trump is bad, vote for us, we're not like Trump. So yeah, I think shit's gonna really kick off. So if you'd like to join that conversation that we are currently having, oh yeah, and we were talking about the 30,000 drones that the government just ordered, and we're wondering why they're ordering so many drones. And that's just phase one. There's 4 phases. Each phase ramps up with more drones every few months. So the first order was 3,000. The next order, phase 2 was 3,000. Next order the next from phase 2 was like 60,000. Then the phase 3 was like 100,000. So why so many drones? What's going on?
You said that letter for the drones that was basically leaked by a whistleblower.
No, this went out. This was a memorandum that went out to, I guess, all the top, probably the postmasters, and then then they it has an accompanying letter that all the postal workers have to carry with them. So really brief, I'll read it, just a few sentences off it. Basically, and it was issued January 5th, basically says, during large-scale emergencies, epidemics, hurricanes, civil unrest, states and localities may issue curfew orders and other directives restricting travel and other commercial and personal activities. So, and then the rest of it saying how you need to carry this letter with you in case you were stopped by local law enforcement or law enforcement, to basically say you are an essential, providing essential services. But why are they issuing this now, right? Why are they putting this out now, 2026, the beginning of 2026, when there's been no pandemic? Nobody's even talked about any kind of pandemic. Like, why is this happening? Why are they putting this out? Like, I'm really curious what's up with this. And so this is a copy of the letter that basically a letter to local law enforcement that says the United States Postal Service has the right to deliver your mail. So, what is up with that?
That just sounds like they're anticipating there being a lot of civil unrest.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to throw in epidemics, hurricanes, natural disasters and stuff like that. And then they're going to put the most likely and most anticipated reason for why there would be a large-scale emergencies at the very end of the list. Epidemics, hurricanes, civil unrest.
I'm going with civil unrest.
Yeah.
Charles Darwin says, what's the bet there's going to be another pandemic? I don't know. I think they played that card out. I think they tried to play it again in 2024, and it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
So I really believe that that they're going to go with. I think they're going to go with mass civil unrest. Like the Floyd protests. And we got Broken Pine joining us. Here he is. Are you there? Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey there.
What's going on up there in Canada, eh?
Oh, it's getting spicy.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna. For Jonathan, I'm buying a postman suit now, urban camouflage. Print out that letter.
So
get a screenshot of that letter.
So apparently I'm a treasonous.
Yeah, why?
Because I want to, I'm in favor of Alberta separating from Canada.
Okay.
Oh, well.
You're in Alberta, from what I remember, right?
Yeah. So the Alberta Prosperity Project went down to the States and met with senior people in the U.S. State Department. And the last meeting was actually in a skiff.
Okay.
So that our Secret Service couldn't nose in on it.
We
Nicest
we
way to
missed
put
a
it.
couple words at the end there.
So the last meeting that our separatists had with the U.S. Secret, State Department was in the SCIF.
Hmm.
So that's a secure information facility.
Okay.
That was about a month ago, and nobody was hiding that shit. Everybody talked about it. We knew who. Everybody knew. It got on the radar of the government of British Columbia and the premier, and all of a sudden, we're treasonists for talking to the United States. We're looking for 177,000 signatures. We're about 3/4 the way there.
I don't think.
I think we're gonna separate.
I can't. Not that I don't hope and pray that wouldn't happen for you. But I think logistically, I don't know if that would work, because then you're cutting off British Columbia from the rest of Canada, right? That's number one, right? So what are they going to do over there?
And that's the goal, because everything is okay. There's two rail lines that go across Canada. There's the CPR and there's the CNR, and they all both go through Alberta. Okay, so 100% tariff on anything that comes through Alberta. How's that going to turn out?
Well, it's not going to work. I mean, it's not that. I can't see that. I can't see that happening.
Well, the wife is concerned that they're going to send the army in.
See, I'd be more concerned about that. You got this. What's his name? Mark, whatever his fuck name. Basically,
Carney.
Another version. I think, isn't he even more crazier than the last guy you had? He's like seems even more in line with China.
Yeah, he's a globalist. He loves China. China China owns him, basically.
Spam bot folder asks, what fucking army?
That's what I said. It's like, okay, so
yeah, Albertans own more guns than the entire Canadian military.
Yes, we do, actually.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because they have to hunt stuff for food.
I mean, I wish you guys luck. We'd love to have you here in the States, believe me. But
no, we don't want to be.
Oh, you want to be your own thing?
We don't want to be part. Yeah.
Oh, that would even be more difficult for you. Like to run a whole economy.
We don't want to be part of this. No. We want to be like Puerto Rico, basically.
Oh, so like a territory, yeah. I think I'd be fine with that. I love Alberta
because all the commodities like oil.
Yeah, I know.
is traded in U.S. dollars, and I don't know if you've ever seen what the Canadian dollar is worth compared to the U.S. dollar, but it's about 30% less.
Yeah. It seems to get lower and lower every time I look at it. Yeah. So Captain Rusty Rivers says, Billy, I've seen complete collapse. Yeah. Once in 92 with Andrew. He means Hurricane Andrew, in case anybody doesn't know. In Miami, and second time in 2005 with Katrina. Oh boy, that was a bad one. In Mississippi, I've lived and survived through total government takeover. Scary shite. Yeah, government takeover is not something you'd really want to bring. But these stupid people in Minneapolis, they're going to fuck around and find out. They push it enough, and they're going to be handed down some fucking.
Bringing the Marines.
Yeah, they're going to. back in '92, Rusty mentioned '92. They had that. I think it was '92. The LA riots.
Yeah.
And it was going hog shit wild. And then they declared martial law. Army rolled in, and a week later, everything was done.
I wonder if they're going to bring in miniguns.
Rooftop Koreans.
Just tell the South Korean army, hey, we've got people out here you could use for target practice for your soldiers. Come on over, we'll fund the whole thing. It wouldn't be the first time we've done some shit like that. Hire somebody to do our dirty work for us.
Yeah, I remember that. But hopefully, our goal, like, we're going to get these signatures for the petition. There's a lot of shitbag shit going on about fake polls and like their online polls and like they're trying to dampen it. Is the best way I can put it. And trying to label us as traitors and treasonists and whatever. I don't give a fuck at this point. We'll see what happens in October. That's all I'm going to say.
So Spambot Folder says, based on attendance and the APP meeting, we are north of 200,000 signatures by now.
Yes, he's correct.
And so how many are, so what would be, so say you get all the signatures, then what?
We need 177,000 signatures. We're probably going to get 1 million.
But then what's the next phase? Okay, you got all these signatures.
Then we have a referendum.
And then
on the question, on the referendum and the question.
So it's put to the vote, right? Okay, so say you guys all vote.
Yep.
And it's good to go. So then you separate from Canada, and Canada's parliament going to let that happen?
No, we can't unilaterally separate like Rhodesia did. Negotiate, but the federal government has to negotiate in good faith. That's the key word. If they're not negotiating in good faith, then if the United States recognizes Alberta as an independent state because Canada is not negotiating in good faith, and they're dragging their fucking heels and trying to make it painful for Alberta, all bets are off.
Who texted me? Oh, hold on one sec. Sorry. I keep talking. Just
everybody's texting him. Everybody start calling Billy while he's live.
Right.
They kept doing that to Bob, and I thought, well, that's actually kind of funny. You're trying to stream, and all of a sudden, everybody's starting to call you.
I should probably put it on silent, but oh yeah. The other day,
very drunk.
The other day, I was on Ike's stream. We were doing the wrestling thing, and they took a screenshot of his room there. There was a couple of us like in his room. So that was kind of fun.
Awesome.
So Spambot Folder says, and if the government does not negotiate in good faith, Chapter 155 of the Supreme Court judgment, the province may then unilaterally declare independence. Unilaterally.
Unilaterally. In other words, everybody says we're doing this.
And that's basically civil war.
Yeah. That's a big fucking
unanimous decision to separate, and the government doesn't just accept it and leave you alone to do it. Then that means war.
So, but if my memory serves me right, isn't Alberta pretty much like the entire economic driver of Canada? Like you have all the oil, and I think all your farming is done there, or most of it.
I think so.
We have a thing called transfer payments from the provinces that are wealthy, supposedly, and to the unwealthy provinces. It's communism, basically.
Yeah.
We transfer money to 8 provinces, I think, at this point. Quebec gets the most. 40% of their budget comes from Alberta.
Yeah. Huh.
From oil and
I think this is that picture of Polska's room.
Yeah, there you go.
If Alberta left Confederation right now, no one would have to pay income tax ever again.
And why is that?
Because we make that much wealth.
Okay. Huh.
It's like Alaska. Like they don't pay income tax in Alaska. Last time I checked.
Actually, if you're an Alaskan, you get a kickback from the. Hey, there's April. You get a kickback from the pipeline. You get like a stipend. I think it's $1,000 a month, but you have to like live there. You have to be native to there. Born there, I believe. Something like that.
You have to live. You have to stay there a certain amount of months. Yeah. April.
Yeah, it's April. So here's just a real side note with April. So I've talked about the band thing that I'm doing, and how I submitted the stuff for the single. I made a image for the or artwork for the single that would go out on all the platforms, and it was a let's just say it was April in a revealing outfit, and it was rejected by some of the streaming services. So they're like, well, you could move forward with it, but XYZ service won't carry it. I'm like, fuck. So I had to redo the artwork and resubmit it. So now it's waiting again. So, but it'll be soon. I toned it down. I really toned it down.
Your abilities are like the AI thing is like, I'm astounded. Like on your weekly stuff and like the 304s, it's like these are not real people. And like, wow.
No. Well, here's one that's this is my latest one that I've been working on. It's basic, so and it kind of goes into this whole subject that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's this poor guy Gary, and Gary works. He's like the janitor maintenance guy at the local police station, and poor Gary has been like. He'll paint the wall and then there'll be a fucking riot and he'll come in the next day. The wall's all fucking full of graffiti. He's like, God damn it. And like, it's just, he's trying to make the community nice and maintain things. And like, he's just a relatable character because he's like this older black guy, he's working hard. And here, let me show you the video of poor Gary.
It's the Sisyphus thing, right?
Yeah. Hold on.
The myth of Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill.
Yes. So here's poor Gary. And I'm gonna do, I don't know if it's gonna be one video or a couple videos, but here is poor Gary.
Oh man. I'm getting too damn old for this shit. Too damn old.
That's Gary. I'm going to be making a video or a few videos of poor Gary just trying to do his job, man. He's just trying to fucking live his life. And these people, these stupid rioters with their stupid bullshit just keeps fucking up poor fucking Gary's life. So
yeah, just complete and utter bullshit, because it's only the people who are supposedly the target audience for these movements that they call themselves. They're just domestic terrorists.
They are.
They're the ones that are getting negatively affected. Like every time you want to go and protest blocking the highway, who is trying to get to work?
Yeah.
The average Joe that has, these things called bills that we have to pay unless we want to be living on the street, homeless, eating out of a garbage can, or just dead in general. Yeah, we're just trying to get to work. Why you aren't trying to get to work? You actually have the time to stand out here and do this dumb shit.
Well, see, now that's where things can go wrong for these guys. If you push the American people enough with that crap, they're going to reject it wholeheartedly, and not just the right wing. You're going to get the people in the middle,
and because they're just being obnoxious. That's the problem. Is you're not showing the people that you're supposed to be winning over to your side why they should be on your side. All you're doing is being an annoyance, an inconvenience that is, well, by choice. You're a hindrance that doesn't need to exist, but because you made a conscious decision as an adult to put on a reflective vest and super glue your hands to the asphalt because you're so worried about Mother Earth and what we're doing to her with all of our nuclear energy, which is really just a power play on old 1800s steam power, by the way. You're really not getting anybody to join you. You're more or less just annoying everybody and making them wonder how they could possibly get away with running you over and making it look like it was self-defense.
It's just, but that's the thing. It's like these people that are brainwashed. They're falling right for it. They're like,
they don't think.
The pretty guy was poor, hapless, just he was just doing nothing.
No.
He wasn't an active participant.
You bring a gun to a gunfight and you're gonna fucking find out.
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't arguing with the person, but I was having a quote unquote discussion with someone recently, where that was brought up, and I says, you know what? I'm not getting myself shot. You know why? Because I'm not interfering with law enforcement. I'm leaving them to do their jobs, right? I'm not a judge. I'm not, anybody of power or authority who could say who should stay, who should go, who should do this, who should do that, right? There's people who do that. They're called our elected officials, and those people who sign up for those jobs to be in law enforcement, and they're there to carry out the law of the land, right? Whatever that law may be. And I'm not going to stop them from doing their job when it's a lawful job, like removing criminals. Like I saw this one video where one of these ICE agents rolled up on these fucking gaggle of idiots, and they're making noise and stuff. And the agent puts down his window and he goes, we're here to pick up to get a guy who molested kids, right? And not a word from these fucking protesters. He's like, hear me. He touched kids, okay?
Crickets.
Crickets. And he rolled away, and he's like, unbelievable. You can't reason with these people. So
they're robots. I mean, you see it every day when you drive. I don't know how far you guys have to drive to go to work, but I have to drive a pretty good ways to go to work. And you see just how idiotic the average person is. They look like they're staring dead ahead at the road, like they're paying attention. They're still driving like a complete moron, like a teenager that just got their license and they have zero experience. And I'm thinking, here I am in my 20s, and I am a better driver than these people who are, my seniors here. And I'm actually paying attention. My phone is still in my pocket. It doesn't leave my pocket as soon as I step into that vehicle, which is moving at upwards of 65 miles an hour and made of steel, aluminum, and plastic, and could technically kill somebody. So I take it seriously when I'm driving, unlike a lot of people. So if you see the stupidity when we're driving, then you're going to see the stupidity when they're standing on the side of the road with a paper mache sign.
Amen.
Invasion of the pod people. The pod people had reason, and then they got replaced by people without reason, right? These people just, they're brainwashed from, last night's pop show, right? If anybody watched that, think back of that. If you haven't watched it,
the latter half of it, yeah.
Rewatch it, and you'll see these teachers bringing these grammar school kids out to protest. Like, what the fuck are grammar school kids out protesting? What are any kids out protesting this ICE bullshit? Why? Like, they're indoctrinating them. Totally indoctrinating them.
Yeah, that's all that is. There should be no reason why you are bringing children to an event where it's supposed to be adults conveying a point. Like, why? There is no reason to bring children to where adults are supposed to handle business. It's a serious matter.
Mao did the same thing.
I mean, before that, Stalin did the same thing. They'd bring children to factories to work. They didn't care.
Well, no. They wanted the children to rat in the parents.
Oh yeah, well apparently the people that are so vilified by the left, they're using the exact same tactics. The Nazis, what did they do? They convinced the children, if your parents are showing signs of harboring Jews, then you should tell. It's funny how they're using the exact same tactics of the people they claim to hate so much, and they call everybody that disagrees with them a Nazi, even though that they're the ones using Nazi tactics.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't even need to go as far back as the Nazis. We could just go right, a couple of years ago to COVID. Look at what they were doing.
Yeah,
I mean, Jesus. If that wasn't a huge and that's the thing, that was like a huge eye opener to people, or should have been, and people just seem to have forgotten all about it, or they were a part of it and just went along with it.
I couldn't eat in a restaurant.
Yeah. You know what was the really sad thing that you break?
I was
Yeah. Well, you know what the terrible thing about that was? When speaking of restaurants, a lot of restaurants had to put in like outdoor seating, or just all kinds of crazy configurations to just try to stay in business. And then just like that, like COVID just ended. Remember, it was just like it just ended. Like, it was like one day it was like poof, all gone. No worry about anything.
It was like the glove with all the jewels in it snapped its fingers.
Yes. And then all these like businesses that had to invest all this money into like outdoor seating and all these other accommodations for all these stupid fucking rules, which, by the way, a lot of them were done by local politicians and local laws, not necessarily state law, although a lot of them were state sanctioned. And then just all went away, and a lot of businesses went out of business because of it.
I have a lot of resentment towards anybody who said, well, you're unvaccinated, you can't come here. Well, fuck you, I'll never enter your fucking business ever again.
Well, you want to hear a funny one? And I know I've told this story before. I was dating a woman at that time who was a teacher. And of course, this was actually one of the huge things that ended the relationship.
Always the worst.
Yeah, was that that I wouldn't take the jab. And she kept arguing with me on it. And some of the funniest thing I'll never forget was how, she was giving like what ifs. Mm-hmm. And she goes, what if my friends are having a party and, you're unvaccinated and they're all vaccinated? And I'm like, yeah, well, like, you guys will be fine, right? Thanks for worrying about me, right? Because if this is so bad and I'm unvaccinated, I'm really the one at risk, right?
Correct.
vaccine doesn't, if the vaccine works, what are you worried
Right.
about?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what are you worried about? You're good.
It was more about compliance than it was actual protection. It's almost like wearing an armband.
Well,
Why aren't you wearing an
no,
armband? Because there's
they
no need
never
for it.
actually they never actually believed that vaccine worked. That's the
No,
scary
it was
part.
all about just compliance and being part of the group. So really, if you were to
Yes.
translate what she was saying, you'd hear, why don't you want to be part of the group? Why don't you want to be like everybody else? Everybody else is taking the jab. Why won't you do it? Why won't you follow like the rest of the herd?
What are you, an anti-vaxxer? I'm like, no, I've gotten vaccines before,
Oh,
but
I got called that too.
but how about you let that thing kind of test out for like a decade or so to see what kind of side effects there are?
Yeah, and see
Oh,
how
fuck.
many other vaccines that
no.
were considered safe and effective, and then decades later you see that it's got problems.
It's so sad now of cancer, colon cancer,
Oh, yeah.
breast cancer, everywhere, like vaxxed 5 times. Oh, I'm yeah, your tits have to be gone. It's just,
Anytime somebody dies now, that's probably a little too, who probably should have went more years than they did. The first thing I think of every time is, did they get the jab? There was a woman. Good.
Even the kids, like Gen Z, are like, they hear an ambulance is like, oh yeah, vaccine injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the kids in their 20s and 30s are saying. Oh, I hear an ambulance. Yeah, they're vaccine. They're coming to look after somebody who's vaccine injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
But there was the first thing that the latest one was, she was a comedian in the Home Alone, the mom.
Yeah,
whatever her name was.
There
you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I love
Good
her.
Canadian there, eh?
I loved her.
And she kicked it. She was only 71, and to me, that's that's not that old, right?
But she could have gone a few more years.
I think so.
Another
First thing that came to mind, probably got the jab.
Yep.
Charles Darwin. I'm starting to think Islam maybe have some good ideas about women. Well, things started to come apart when we let feminism take over. Just
the part of them keeping them on a metaphorical tight leash so they don't fuck up everybody. That part we can talk. I wouldn't say to the extent that they do, because it's a little bit much. Like, do you really need to beat them to the point of disfiguring them? You understand you're supposed to breed them, not kill them, right?
Well, I mean, they honestly, a lot of them just view them as like livestock. Right?
Okay, that too, and then they'll turn around and they'll bang their buddies in the butt just for fun, or goats.
Women are for reproduction, boys are for fun.
Yeah, or that and goats or llamas or anything else with a butthole. Yeah, that.
That they call it a dad's boy.
That's just disgusting.
Jibber John. Well, most chicks are fugly. Burkas makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea to keep that under wraps, preferably jet black wraps with tiny holes cut in the top. Sure. So we don't have to see that. But, some of them, I guess, if you like your girls caramel with dark hair.
I've seen some good looking ones. There's definitely any.
You don't have to worry about them being fat.
10%.
Yeah, you at least don't have to worry about them being like a size 18 or above.
Oh, this is true. Well, I've seen some of them.
Yeah. Well, some of them bulk up in Canada. I'm just like pointing that out.
No. As long as they don't go to Brazil and get a butt lift and make their asses as huge as so they have to walk into the door sideways.
I've seen hijabs that conceal whales.
So you're saying that they had Omar the tent maker make their burqa.
Yes.
That's bad. When
That's
you see
bad.
that, when you can see the ass stick out from underneath the burqa to where you could build a house on it and call it an ass state, that's bad.
An ass state.
Yes.
No,
Like it sticks out so far you could build a house on it. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's like
That's
50% of them are white too.
Huh?
They're converts.
Okay. Interesting.
And for what? Because those guys, some of them have money.
No, it's all virtue signaling, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Then I guess they deserve to get punched in the face. Then it's deserved. You're just an idiot at that point. You really want to curtail to the people that look at you and they think you're less than human because you're not Muslim, because apparently somewhere in the Quran says if you're not Muslim then you are to die. Sure, you want to just give everything to them. You want to compensate for them. No, you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're a convert.
Do you guys want some wacky stories? I think we've beaten these this stuff to death.
Yeah,
I threw my bull report in the private chat. So, if you want to watch that or not.
Sure. Let's see.
It's got copyright-free music, so you're good.
I don't care. I don't care about. Pop does because he'll get his stuff. None of my shit's monetized, so.
I don't plan on ever posting anything on YouTube. I know that I would probably be able to get a larger following quicker if I started on YouTube because that's where most people are. I just don't like YouTube. I do not care for them. I'd rather just continue on Rumble. I might look at Kick. I'm not going to bother with Twitch because Twitch is for bitches. So I'll just stick with Rumble. Odyssey has dropped the ball. They had a good start.
Yeah.
Good thing going, but they dropped it and they've lost all their hype.
Them and BitChute.
Yeah, BitChute was looking to be like a bastion, but they just stopped caring, I guess.
Yeah. Now, okay, so this is strange. This guy, this looks like a hammerhead or hammerhand.
Yeah, so the plan for the thumbnail was supposed to be I would edit it to make it look like trying to think Tim Walz or maybe some liberal official in Minneapolis or whatever during the riots. And I didn't get time to do that because I wanted to get this bullshit report uploaded quicker. So I just threw the screenshot up there as the thumbnail.
No worries. Let me see if I got set right, though, so it could be heard. Hold on 1 second. Can you hear that?
Nope.
No? Not at all?
Not at all.
How am I going to do this?
It might be a window capture with sound.
Hold on. Let me try something else. Nope. Hold on. How am I going to do this? Stop sharing. Please stand by. I have less than a shoestring budget. Also share tab audio. Let me try that.
That should probably do it. Yeah. I'm saving up money for my projects. I got to get the VTuber rigging software, and I think I'm going to get some music production software too.
All right. See if you can hear this.
Yes. No.
Hold on. Let me try one other thing. And put some speakers on my computer here.
Uh-oh.
See if that does it.
We lost Pine.
Uh-oh. He was coughing. All right. Can you hear that?
I can hear that.
All right, here we go.
Bus pounders, meat funnel floggers, and beef cheddar chewers. He's rising in Minnesota, and it ain't melting the snow. He's melting the Bolshevik iceberg festering under Minneapolis. It's falling your mom's holes. Jackal 1-1 sending Moabs danger fucking close. There's talk of Tinky Tim and the Lieutenant Guac Governor Peggy. Emphasis on the peg Flanagan. But no one's looking at the mayor Jacob Frey, another fucking law student. That's ironic. Whose second wife, Sarah Clark, is a former my ass lobbyist and attorney. She used to work for a firm that represented so-called non-profit groups committing fraud. So what's stopping her and Gay J over here from using the same tactics to assist Aunt Quifa and company to disrupt ICE operations in Minnesota? Because y'all are small and carbonated, just accept it. Frey and Clark practice Guten. Why am I not surprised? Clark's former employer has a record of solely bankrolling demo-rat politicians and organizations like Come Swallow It Heels Up Harris, the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party, like we'd see Democrats do farm work, and Act Blue, which was founded by Benjamin Ron and Matt DeBergalis. Wait a minute, Ron sounds oddly Ashkenazi-ish. Matty Matt runs GraphQL, which is a data query and manipulation language platform originally conceived by Zuckerberg's Meta. I wonder what he can do with that technology. Way Gay Frey over here has already been in the spotlight from his wife's involvement with law firms getting raided and the very wealthy donors putting up high-dollar donations to bolster his campaigns for re-election. These non-profit donors are likely satellites of his or his political friends, I'm sure. He sounds so commie-ish. Ew. All of Minneapolis, thrive Minneapolis. Who comes up with corny-ass names like this? Oh, right, Bolsheviks. Oh, my God.
You gonna shoot me? Yeah, I was thinking about it.
The armed riots and jungle guerrilla tactics intended to stop or delay ICE operations are just the cover story. They're getting pretty bold, so we're pissing off somebody. Someone's financial booty hole must be under threat of being exposed. So the counter-fed ops are ramping up, just like the one Tim uses to funnel Jizzy Juice into his butt to cover the proverbial ass of the rotten underworld that is Minnesota politics. Bolsheviks, okay. Whatever. More is going on than what is being shown, even by the TIS intelligence operators connecting the dots and running off methed out, blown away, cray-cray, and twatifa gays. This is just one zipperhead hub of crony crookery. Gotta dig deeper than you did in your cousin's crack to find what is being hidden from us. Jackal out. So stop cock cramming cream crackers and fuck off.
I have to recreate that that fart graphic. I have to restart it.
It's not a coincidence that the they expose all this fucking corruption happening in Minnesota and then all of a sudden all these things start happening in Minnesota. And you have the stupid governor out there on the news every other day, and the mayor, and all this bullshit drumming up the fucking lefty idiots.
Bless you.
Excuse me, thank you. All the lefty idiots. Kind of funny how the timing of that just all worked out.
Yep, I don't think I've said this on Pops yet, but I probably should just throw it in a bullshit report for tomorrow if I can make one by tomorrow. Good grief. The only ones who truly have an idea of what's going on are either the people who have sources from the inside or like expert level hackers that are getting into the government databases, or they're intercepting private communications networks between those certain powers that be who might be, allegedly involved in nefarious operations in the deep state, because anything that's coming out, like, don't get me wrong, I'm trying to think of who are the few that Battle Dwarf had brought up on last Thursday's stream. Like Data Republican and what was his Cam something? I can't remember his last name. Yeah, those people, they do good jobs of pointing out stuff and trying to put together a big picture. But the problem with their operation there is that they're only using information that is being allowed to escape. The really juicy information, the damning information, is held under such strong lock and key that the people that have the opportunity to get a hold of that information before it is leaked by a source from within, or before it, gets discovered that it may be vulnerable and so it gets scrubbed.
Yeah.
The thing is, those people are either already on a watch list and they can't let out a fart without, somebody in the government knowing about it, or they're dead or in prison. I'm just thinking that all this information that comes out, you hear all this hype, and all of a sudden, you go across YouTube, you go across Instagram, you go across YouTube, Rumble. I think I said Rumble, YouTube twice, but Rumble, and all the other big media platforms. You have all these influencers putting out videos on it because everybody wants to give their take on it. I get it. We all have the freedom to, give our thoughts. Technically, I'm not doing anything better using my bullshit reports. But it's all controlled release. It's like the balloon that's full of shit. They're easing the shit out of the balloon.
Yeah.
They're not as groundbreaking as people are drumming them up to be. Keep in mind that a lot of these influencers that are, putting out videos about it, the quartering, trying to think, what was that the black guy that's always wearing the ball cap? He's a gun tuber, basically. I'm trying to think what his name is. Colin something. But
not familiar.
Just a whole bunch of other people that you usually see covering whatever the lefties are doing. I understand that they're all big. They've got millions of subscribers. They got people that are constantly listening into them. Tim Cast being another one, but they're really not making as much groundbreaking news as they think they are, because the information that they have access to is the exact same as everybody else. It's gotten to that oversaturation point to where, Colin Noir, it's gotten to the oversaturation point, just like television did. Everybody's doing the exact same shit. Everybody's using the exact same articles as their sources, like New York Post or, Gateway Pundit. They're using the same sources. They're all just giving their take on the whole thing, but they're all basically saying the exact same thing. And to me, it's getting a little bit old and annoying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that the only people who are actually capable of getting a hold of the juicy information that would really put a damper on the powers that be plans, they're staying quiet, or they are sharing the information on platforms that aren't as heavily monitored by the government, because they know that if they do, if they use the same approach as these big influencers, they're gonna get found out, and they're probably gonna get a visit by Black Ops at 3:00 in the morning. Because we're talking about information that is not public, and it's damning to certain people who may or may not be on a certain list ending with Steen. So
Brandon Trueblood sent me a video. I don't have it uploaded on here. That is really good. It's basically Epstein walking through like just all different areas and taking selfies with like everybody, like everybody you ever thought of being linked to it. So it was quite
like they might
fun.
not even be part of the whole thing, but because there's a selfie of him with them in the picture out
It's
there.
like an AI. It was AI with him just taking selfies, like walking through different places and taking selfies. But
Right.
in the background, we have been joined by Captain Rusty Rivers. What's going on, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Billy?
How are you?
Oh, good. I didn't realize it with my new channel. I'm having to play catch up and subscribe to all of you fine gentlemen again. So so you got one more subscriber now on your channel.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And hold on, let me pull up. If you haven't subscribed to Rusty's new channel, because his it's not really his old channel. His prior channel has been taken over by cats. So he has a new channel. So you're still doing the cat thing. And that thing has fucking blown up. You got like 12,000 subscribers. It's out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually right now it's doing about 500 subscribers a day on average.
Wow. Hold on. Where is your new channel? Here's your new channel. Let me put you in here. Oh, Outlaw came by. Let me put him in a sec. Okay. If you haven't subscribed to Captain Rusty Rivers, there you go. Links in the chat. Let's add Outlaw in here.
What's up?
What's up? How are you?
Much, man.
We're just having a conversation about things that may or may not happen with all these lefties going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's just weird.
So what do you got for us, Rusty?
Well, the you know how I am. I don't play expert in everything. I only have, barely a handful of stuff that I'm actually qualified to talk about. One of the things I can't stand is, and God, we're so guilty of it in the manosphere, is you got a panel and it doesn't matter what subject is brought up. Everybody on the panel is an expert.
I ain't no expert about shit. I know a little bit about everything, but not everything about everything.
Yeah.
I'm definitely no expert.
All I can do is give you thoughts and opinions, man. That's at the end of the day, it's all I can do.
I'm just a stupid kid, so I don't know.
One of the things that is a repeating theme in the manosphere is the preppers, the prepper mentality, waiting for collapse. Get your popcorn and enjoy the fall. And I actually have lived through 2 absolutely total complete collapses. The first one was in 1992 when Andrew hit Miami.
Yeah.
I was good God, I was I can't remember how old I was at the time. It was like 21 or 20. I had just gotten convicted and I was in the belly in downtown Miami in jail waiting to be transported to prison when Andrew hit. And when Andrew hit, we were completely on our own. There was, no government. I mean, there was barely anybody tending to the prisoners in the jail. And it was, we had cells that had about 20 guys to them, bunk beds in the jail and most of us had already been convicted, and we were waiting to be transported to prison. And it got rough, So I saw what happens quickly in a situation which was so contained. It was a microcosm of society and fighting over resources. And in German, Hitler called it Lebensraum, breathing room. And then in 2005, in Mississippi, Hurricane Katrina, we didn't see a light bulb come on for 2 months.
Wow.
We had tanks parked on our property. It was martial law.
Yeah.
There was parts that were in the city that were the gangs, roaming gangs. You never would see them since there was no electricity, and it would be at night. And all the rednecks would get up on top of their roofs and just start shooting into the dark. And we did that. That happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And the only coverage that most of the country got was out of stupid New Orleans, which only got flooded, by the way. But anyways, I seen what could happen, and here's I'm trying to bottom line this for you guys to run in my mouth. The men who are capable today are going to be the same men that are capable tomorrow. The same men that are idiots today are going to be the same men who are idiots tomorrow. The men who have charisma, predatory nature, and the ability to take command today are going to be the warlords of tomorrow. And that's it. I'm tired of hearing a lot of these guys think that just because the circumstances change, that their circumstances are going to change. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I don't want to see the downfall. I know a lot of people want to see the downfall. I want it to go back. Unfortunately, I'm one of these guys who just wish we could go back to the 80s and 90s and, where we didn't have, sure, there were problems, but not like it is now. But then you think it's like, well, how are things going to really change? Right? We're so far fucked in the economy as far as unaffordability for the common people to just do things like buying houses and living day-to-day life. Women are completely out of their fucking minds. So, any thought of, normalcy of marriages are really just kind of old news. This left ideology that's infected everything. And I'd venture to say half the population. How do you change that unless something drastic? And I'm talking drastic. And the last time I saw something drastic really change, like people, how they thought, was 9/11, right? That was a big changing moment where we came together as a country, but it kind of fell away relatively quickly. Within 20 years, it's like a forgotten, sure, they still have their ringing the bell every year kind of thing, but we've totally gotten away from. On my block, I'm the only one who hangs an American flag out of my house.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So and I'd say my neighbors aren't like, they're not, well, some of them are unpatriotic, because I have a couple of new neighbors. Well, they're not new. They've been here a couple of years now, but they're illegals. They definitely don't have any flag. Thankfully, they haven't put out the flag of Mexico, because that would really piss me off. But yeah, just people don't have any civic sense or understanding. And this was talked about on Pop Show yesterday, but we've kind of come apart as a country, the community sense of sticking together and having one goal and one unity. And I don't know if I could see that changing unless something really big happens. What do you guys think?
No.
Go ahead, Outlaw.
I know Outlaw has opinions on this.
If you say the quiet part out loud, YouTube has something to say about it. So
I don't care what YouTube thinks.
The problem is you got to get government out of your daily life.
Yeah.
That's what I tell the guys on my channel. You've got to get government out of the home. You've got to, as far as marriage is concerned. None of this goes back.
I think as far as everything is concerned, people invite the government into all aspects. Sorry.
Well, it's an imbalance of the government having power over the people. We're supposed to be united technically by our own country's definition of what we are. We're supposed to be the force that the government is supposed to fear and have control and mastery over it. But when you have criminals running the asylum, and these criminals have foreign countries aiding them and backing them up, coming back over here and controlling this thing.
Yeah.
The only way I can see fixing this, Billy, and this is what I tell guys all the time, if you are able to get the next generation away from the feminism and the gynocentrism and the anti-religion and all this stuff, if you get them away and actually teach them proper and right and educated, but even then, with cell phones and technology all over the culture, I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah. The cell phone social media has really just demented a lot of society at this point. And I think too, with a lot of, as a side note to that, I think a lot of problems that are happening in Europe with the, let's say the graping, I think has to do with those guys watching on, porn on their government issued phones, that it's okay to just go ahead and, take what you want. Anyway, go on, Rusty. You want to say something?
It's just a repeat of all the resounding themes that we have here in the manosphere. I mean, we're never trekking over new territory. We're just repeating ourselves. It's just a giant echo chamber.
Yeah.
I don't want to change anything for the fact that I know I don't have the power to. What I do have the power to do is to learn the landscape and learn the current rules, and then be smart enough and adaptable enough to be able to snake my way around it to my advantage. And then also, I gotta just really, the only mandate I have is for my 4 grandsons. And I was just talking with a family member earlier this evening saying, that's my job. That there's no way that my 4 grandsons are ever going to have a shot with the modern women that are coming up. I mean, what we got now, God help us, what's coming around the corner. Listen, we're not going to change nothing. This is all futile. I think that each man has got to decide, where does his geographical territory begin and where does it end? And then focus on his own territory and what he actually can control.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you this is a two-part question for you, Rusty. What do you want for your grandkids, and what do you think your grandkids will inherit after when you're gone and they're in their 30s, 20s, 30s, what do you think their world's going to look like?
I think that the world is going to look like shit. I think, look, Isaac Asimov had like three rules for predicting the future. Okay. The first rule, he said, was whatever's been going on will continue to go on. And I can't remember the other two, because if you could just remember the first one, you pretty much got it down packed.
There you go.
Yeah. So whatever's been going on will continue to go on, and it's going to get worse. The world that my grandsons are going to be adults in it's probably going to be unidentifiable by me if I was to see it right now. Okay. Instead of incrementally working my way into it as well too. It's going to be bad. Now, fortunately for them, they're going to have some resources on their side that their average peer is not going to have, because I'm going to wind up leaving them some real estate, and make sure that it's situated in such a way that those little boogers can't liquidate it. Okay. But no, they can't put all their eggs in a basket with the woman that's going to be coming their way in the future. They will be destroyed, and, my mission, as I see it, is I'm not trying to reach the entire world. I just want to make sure that my grandsons and maybe a few other young men, they're, well aware about the dangers of the modern woman and the evils of feminism. And that's it, really, really small, narrow focus of mine.
Yeah. No, I'm hearing you. What do you see what I'm seeing as far as this year is concerned? Are any of you guys picking up on that, or is it just me? As far as, like, I believe that they're going to really ramp things up because of the midterms and just a lot of different things in general. Are you seeing that, or am I just reading too far into the tea leaves?
I don't, to be honest with you, Billy, I really don't know. I really have tuned out the world around me and the news and everything, because it's the same old, same old. I mean, what you're describing is a regular cycle in politics, and dirty politics that the Democrats have been playing forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True that. I fear of, that it's going to get really bad. And that's why I hope people are preparing for the possibility of that. So that's why I'm trying to reinforce it. Load up on your shit.
Yeah. Look, if you live in the city, and God help you if you live in a blue city.
Oof.
Okay? I mean, COVID should have taught you everything, that you needed to know, that you need to know for today. Yeah. But the thing is that who you were in COVID, that's who you are. And I don't know if you really can change that with some of these wacko liberals. They just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they don't. I don't know if you heard when I was talking about earlier about the TV show Westworld and the robots, and did you hear any of that, Rusty?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. They don't see that they don't see anything except what they want to see, and everything else just doesn't look like anything to them. It's nothing. It doesn't click. It doesn't jive. So I don't think there's any reasoning. There's no turning people. There's no changing people at this point. I think the forces out there are just too strong. Between the influencers and the media, people are just going to get more left or more right. I don't think there's going to be a coming to the middle anymore.
I'm going to tell you this, Billy. I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
If people are a believer in Christ Jesus, I know people don't like that good book, but if people are a believer in Christ Jesus, there is no changing what's happening. Because if it's been prophesied that these things are going to come to pass, that this culture is going to crumble and collapse like it is, there is no changing it. The only thing you really can do at the end of the day is change yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be the change you want others to see. It's got to start with you. It's got to start in the home. And if it don't,
Yeah. Well, on that note, I guess we'll wrap things up.
I mean,
so let's go around the room for final thoughts. Jackal, you've been quiet. Finish off whatever you would like to finish off with. You still there, Jackal? Playing games, maybe. How about you, Rusty? You got any final thoughts for us?
I don't know, man. I think that I'm just going to find me a look-alike Jesus white robe and order that, and get me a sign that says "What's your body count?" and I'm going to walk the highway and make a video.
There you go.
I mean, in other words, you gotta laugh at this shit as it's going on. You know, it's. Look, this is somewhere we're probably on an analogous level. We're probably somewhere around 440 AD, four in the 430s, maybe the 430s. Okay, remember Rome fell in 476 AD. Okay. And that's when enough immigrants were allowed into the country and got behind the wall, and then were hired as mercenaries, because by that time the regular Roman army was no longer volunteer. They had to actually hire mercenaries who turned out to be the very same people that were on the wall that they were watching across the wall from trying to invade Rome. So now you have a situation where the Goths and the Visigoths and the Vandals are watching each other, and they're going to come on through. Okay, so we're somewhere, we're somewhere in that 50-year period beforehand. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Real quick, we had Jiffer. Jonathan was there. No, he's not there. I don't know what happened to him. Outlaw. And I think, yeah, Rusty, I totally hear what you're saying with the, we lost. Hold on. We're losing people now.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. I missed most of the stream, man. Wish I had
no
more
worries.
to say. I really don't.
Jiffer Jonathan, do you have anything? Hopefully. No. All right. I think he's I'm pretty sure he's either Australia or New Zealand. So I'm pretty certain he's Tasmania, Australia, from what I remember. So yeah, sorry for the depressing well, I don't know if it's depressing. It's, it's just kind of, head on a swivel, guys, of potential shit coming toward possibly your town. And I really am concerned about the 30,000 drones. I have no idea what that's all about. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. With that, I'll put you guys in the background real quick. You can hang out if you want or take off. If you want to talk after the show for a minute or two, that'd be cool. So I will put you in the background.
Take it easy.
Oh. Sorry, Rusty. I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you going to hang or no?
No.
All right. Well, it was good seeing you. Oh, and he's gone. Burp, gone. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for spending your night with me. And I hope it wasn't too depressing or any of that. And next program notes. Next week, I am going to be out of the country. So I will not be hearting comments as much as I normally can, just because I am not going to be near a good Wi-Fi sources and whatnot. So I'll be gone all next week. But videos are going to continue as normal. I got stuff already preloaded up. So yeah, don't worry about missing on anything. Just I might not be as active. I'll try when I can if I get to some good Wi-Fi, but and then I'll be back the following week. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a good weekend coming up, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. And I think the only video I have in here is this one. Again, I'll make a new ending video for the show soon. But all right, guys, have a good night. See you soon. Take care.